Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Former President Jacob Zuma barred from being Member of Parliament due to his hovering sentence. Hello, my name is Reneilwe Morema and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel, reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Weeks of legal disputes and rulings from the country's electoral commission and court, South Africa's highest court on Monday barred controversial former President Jacob Zuma from becoming Member of Parliament. The Constitutional Court's decision brings finality to the matter. However, experts have said it will not hamper Zuma's political life, as the former president is still the face of his party, which is enough to attract supporters and potential voters. Zuma, who now leads the MK party after a political fallout with the governing party, the ANC, has been a thorn in the side of the former party before the general elections this week. I know what Ramaphosa and his ANC goons are thinking. We might have lost the little battles along the way, like the logo disputes and failing to get the MK party deregistered, but they have won the war overall. The 82-year-old former president had his eyes set on returning to parliament and becoming president again on the ticket of the MK after he fell out with his successor, Cyril Ramaphosa. Zuma's 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court in 2021 has become a roadblock for him, and an electoral commission of South Africa's decision disqualified him from holding a seat in parliament. He appealed the IEC decision, and the electoral court gave him the green light to stand as a candidate. The case was eventually heard by the Constitutional Court, which ruled that Zuma would not run for parliament for 5 years from when his prison sentence was completed.
In respect of the question whether Mr. Zuma was convicted as contemplated in section 47(1), this court finds that there is no difference between a conviction following criminal proceedings and a conviction following civil contempt of court proceedings, since a person is convicted of a criminal offence in respect of both proceedings. Section 47(1)(e) draws no distinction between convictions for civil contempt and other convictions. Therefore, the ordinary meaning of an offence should be given to the word, that it is a criminal offence. It is not for a court to limit the scope of the provision. The section clearly says, convicted of an offence and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine. Mr. Zuma was convicted in that this court found him guilty of the crime of contempt of court. This court concludes that Mr. Zuma was convicted of an offence and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment for the purposes of section 47(1)(e) of the Constitution, and is accordingly not eligible to be a member of and not qualified to stand for election to the National Assembly until 5 years have elapsed since the completion of his sentence.
As much as I am leaning towards Jacob Zuma, I love Jacob Zuma. I think I mentioned it so many times in my previous segments. I like him, but no one is above the law. And as a country, we are governed by a set of laws protected by the Constitution, and Zuma managed to break almost every one of them. I think I did mention in my previous segments as well that ordinary people with criminal records, people that actually served the time for their crimes, find it hard to get a job. But people like Zuma with sentences hovering over their heads, mind you, He never served his sentence due to medical reasons, which is weird because he is running up and down campaigning for his party. I guess his health issues magically disappeared. Anyway, he gets to run for presidency again. I guess it's true what they say. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. I think the ANC needs to understand that Jacob Zuma is a political capital, as political analysts like to call it. The court's decision will not sway Zuma's loyal supporters away from voting for the MK party. People are going to vote for the MK party because Zuma is the face. Zuma relies on populist policies to attract supporters, particularly in his home province, KwaZulu-Natal, where he is making gains. The MK party is a vehicle for Zuma's rage against the ANC, and that rage is rubbing off people. I think people that vote for the MK party are only doing so because of their anger towards the ANC. I don't think it is because of the policies or because they are bringing something valuable to the table. It is simply an infestation of rage, and Zuma is leveraging that rage quite well, need I add. The ANC has been losing support in recent years, with polls predicting that it will fail to win a majority for the first time since the dawn of democracy in 1994, which will force it to go into coalition to stay in power. Which will bring me to my next segment. Is coalition politics the way to go? Comment to us what you think about that in the comment section. Outside court on Monday, Zuma's supporters held banners with his name and chanted songs of praise, some expressing their disappointment in the court's ruling. But you know what? It is a big moment in terms of the vindication of the rule of law. The Constitution bars anyone sentenced to more than 12 months in prison from standing for election, and which is what the court cited in its ruling. And the sooner the supporters come to terms with how the Constitution works, the less the heartache, the less the violence, because we know that the Zuma faction loves to get violent whenever things don't go their way. Speaking to BBC News Africa, Jacob Zuma says that he expected the ruling from the judges and that the judges misinterpreted the Constitution, and he will fight the decision. Look at this interview.
Because I expected that from our judges, but they are definitely wrong, not correct.
The judges quoted the Constitution of this country. Are you saying that they misinterpreted the Constitution?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
So what next for you, now that the courts have said you cannot run as MP?
No, I'm a freedom fighter. I'm going to fight it because it's unfair, as well as it is not a democracy. Democracy brings freedom. This is not freedom.
Your own former party, should I say, prematurely ended your presidency on corruption allegations. You have not addressed that.
No, it was not on corruption allegations. Please, we are making a big mistake. There was no corruption that was ever found on me. Singing about Zuma's corruption was a lot, but who has produced anything? Do you have any evidence?
Some call it state capture. Some called it state capture.
No.
Some of the people who are alleged to have worked with you left this country.
I don't know what is a state capture means. Even that one, I can tell you a lot. It was all funny. I'm asking if you heard people saying, I am corrupt, what did I do? Do you have any little fact about it?
There's still cases, and next year you'll be appearing before court again.
No. Am I guilty?
Well, I am not a judge, but...
Precisely. Because we are insisting on a point. Wait, you want to hear me? I don't want to hear you all the time. I'm saying to you, I was removed before I finished my term, and nothing was ever produced as evidence.
The poor journalist being bullied like that, I just feel so bad for her for not standing her ground against this man. The law might have not found you guilty yet, but we, the citizens, we have seen all the corruptions. You have been caught so many times. I mean, there's the Nkandla scandal, the Gupta scandal, the list goes on and on and on. What do you think about the court's ruling? Do you think they were unfair? Do you think they misread the constitution? Or do you think Zuma thinks he is above the law and that he can ride this country wherever, whenever he feels like it? Don't forget to comment in the comment section below, like and share the broadcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Reneilwe Morema. It has been an absolute pleasure.